I'm on a bit of a mission today. Last time I was up here, probably about a week ago, was it? A few days ago, 5 days ago, something like that, here at the Sanur boat harbour. I was on my way up to Padang Galak. That's where I was sort of intending to walk, and I sort of got sidetracked into a little warong up here that I really loved. But my intention was to sort of show you the abandoned theme park up there, and there's a little aeroplane crash memorial, and there's a cafe up there as well. I just think it's quite nice to go up there, and especially if you're on a bicycle, it's quite doable. But in the comments of that video, I had a lot of people saying, oh, didn't you know they've just started demolishing the abandoned theme park? And the abandoned theme park's pretty iconic, actually. It's a pretty cool sort of thing to do while you're in town. So if that's being demolished at the moment, I want to find out what the story is. So I'm going to walk up there and find out exactly what's happening with that theme park. I mean, it was almost demolished anyway. It's like half demolished anyway. Now it's just probably more formalised. But I just wonder what they might be building there in its place. So I'll see if I can get on the ground and ask anyone what's going on. There's usually a few locals up there collecting money from people who want to go in the ground. So we'll see what happens. It's a really steamy morning this morning. It's almost 12 o'clock actually. It's 11:30. This morning it was just pouring down for ages, and it just looked like the day was lost. Just clouds everywhere, and what it's turned into is this, just a beautiful, beautiful day. But that moisture in the air is still around, so it's just really hot and sticky. Coming up to this little rubbish pile at the moment, which I saw the other time. The rubbish pile's getting worse, it looks like. The burning is continuing apace, which is a bit of a shame, isn't it? Digging big holes and just burying stuff on the beachfront. I want to actually ask what these dudes are doing over here, because I reckon that's not great. Let's have a look. They've got another rubbish, big hole there. Let's see if anyone wants to talk. Halo. Ini TPA sekarang? Enggak?
Enggak, Pak. Nanti diangkut.
Tapi kenapa dikubur dulu?
Hah?
Kenapa dikubur dulu di sana?
Enggak, udah dinaikin.
Kenapa enggak langsung dibawa ke sana ke TPA?
Belum 1 ton, Pak. Nanti kalau udah enggak tahu hari apa diangkut mau bawa ke TPA. Disorter dulu. Plastik, sampah, dipilah-pilah dulu.
Wow, oke.
Ya.
Ini dari pemerintah atau gimana?
Dari kantor di sini, dari Gundes.
Dari desa adatnya. Oke. Makasih. Jelek ya?
Iya, iya.
Biasanya mungkin di lahan kosong di sana.
Sana dia ya.
Ya. Makasih ya. Oke. Aduh. Yeah, well, that's the story then. They said it's done by the Desa Adat, not the government, to get rid of all that rubbish and stuff. And they're sorting it there. It's interesting because I'm in a different sort of area. I live in a different area, and I'm surprised that there is rubbish being picked up from people's houses and dumped there into those holes. And then somehow they're doing something with it and taking it somewhere else. I'm really surprised by that. They've made their own sort of makeshift rubbish dump there. I think it's a disgrace, to be honest. There are rubbish problems here in Bali, but that's not really the solution. Putting it on the beach, I don't know. Especially because this is a tourist area, you know. That's just the way it is, I guess. I really feel strongly about that rubbish situation. And I understand there are issues and they usually get resolved, but that's sort of a bit much for me, a bit much. I'm going to see if I can drop into one of these warongs again. If one of them's open, get a little coffee before I keep going. Up here there are a string of them, little tiny ones. Yeah. Oh, they've got a little bird over here. Are they pigeons? There's a pigeon hutch of some sort in there. Yeah. And then that's something else, some other bird cage. Is it a bird cage? Some other animal in there of some sort. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Penangkaran Merpati. Denpasar pigeon release. Some pigeon lovers. What do they call those people, the pigeon lovers? Wasn't one of those Australian cricketers a pigeon lover? Or do they call them a pigeon fancier? Something like that, a pigeon fancier. This is the one that I went to last time. It's actually the one I really like. It's got a bit of character that I do like. You can actually buy arak here as well, pretty cheaply if you're into your arak. But I'm not really looking for arak today. I'm just going to get a coffee. Halo, Bu. Baik, baik. Kopi susu ya, Bu?
Okay.
Ya. Duduk dulu ya, Bu. Yeah. Here we go, look at this. I'm going to get a seat this time, I think, around the back. Oh, it's breezy as well. The breeze has come in. Loving it. Really nice. Oh, that's back into the ladies' little workshop there. Nice. That's actually the view. Yeah. It's quite nice, isn't it? I'm the only person here, sadly. But anyway, I thought after my last video, a few people might come in and try it out. So this little part of Padang Galak is sort of the entrance to the Sanur harbour. So you see all the boats coming and going as well, going to places like Nusa Penida, Nusa Lembongan. I think you can even get to some other places. I think you can even get to like somewhere in Lombok, but maybe not direct from here. But I'm not sure of the schedules. Seems to change a little bit, but it's a long way. Like if you're going anywhere other than Nusa Penida and so forth, it's a pretty long trip from here. And it might be better going from somewhere else. But it's just nice, a nice little place to sort of sit and relax. The lady was telling me, the lady that owns it, that she used to sort of have a little shop down near the Museum Le Mayor, down at Pantai Bangsal. And the rent got too expensive for her. It was costing her 25 million to rent the shop there. I'm thinking that's per year, 25 million per year. That'd be right. It's a lot when you're not selling a heap of stuff, you know? And so she had to leave because she didn't have, well, it wasn't profitable for her to be there anymore. So she came and found this land, and the local village rented it out to her, and her husband built it. Why? You've got to have some artistic styling to build something like this. It's just brilliant. And she says that her prices here are much lower than they would have been over there because the people who are coming here are more just locals who are just swinging past. There's not really any people coming here for tourism purposes, or domestic tourists. Like for example, at somewhere like Pantai Bangsal or any of the beaches in Sanur, when you've got locals coming there, they might be coming from Denpasar or whatever. Because they're coming on a day trip, they're willing to pay a little bit more because they're at the beach and that sort of stuff. But here, the people that come here, not really. Sort of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, my coffee's 5,000. She's selling coconuts, like fresh coconuts. They're not cold. Fresh coconuts for 17,000. I mean, it's pretty good. I asked her about the theme park up there. I said, oh, that's being demolished, isn't it? And she said, she only just noticed it. Like one day she came to work and the big building was gone. She's like, oh, where'd that go? Like, it's just gone. So I'm going to go up and check that out, because on the shoreline, if you've ever been up this way or gone on a boat over to Nusa Lembongan, you'll notice that big sort of, I don't even know what the name of the shape is, like an arch steel structure up there, and that's gone now. I can see from here that it's just not on the shoreline anymore. I mean, it was a bit of an eyesore, but it was also a bit of a tourist attraction as well. I was just speaking to Ibu Ketut, and I asked if I could just have a bit of a look around. Boleh masuk ya, Bu? Yeah. So this is her little warong, which is really cool. She's got like lots of different things she can do for you. So she's got a little stove there. She can cook up boiled bananas for you. Yeah. And so you've got all the coffees here. You've got all your Indomie here. She has a little fried egg. Ada. Yeah, fried eggs. And also like a little, it's like what they call...
Balinese cook.
What's it? Ketela. They've got ketela, which is like an ubi, which is amazing as well. It's like one of those starchy root things that she can do for you as well. And then she has jaja Bali. It's a little snack. Ada apa di dalamnya?
Kalau yang ini
Pisang.
bukan. Ini baru pisang. Ini pisang inside.
Pisang rai.
Bukan pisang rai. Sumping.
Sumping.
Sumping inside pisang. And ini labu. Labu.
Ada apa lagi? Ada kacang tanah. Ada juga telur asin. Banana. And then these are all the jaja Bali, the jajanan pasar, the real deal Indonesian snacks. And so you can have a try of each one of those. No idea what most of them are. You just give them a go. They're cheap as anything. It's a really cheap warung that is authentic, and I really want you to come here. I'm going to have to keep going though and get up to that Padang Galak and see what's going on. I'm in love. I love that place. I know it sort of hit a bit of a spot with a few viewers as well when you saw it at the end of my previous video, because you can get a feel for that place when you go there. And now that you sort of see the owner and you interact with the owner, you get a more deeper feel for that place. It's just exactly what I want. It's exactly what most people want here. It's just fantastic. They can do all sorts of stuff. Like, you can even do you an omelette, which is just, it's just great, isn't it? You know, just all you want. Simple omelette, maybe with some instant noodles. Yeah, wouldn't mind that. Just on the topic of instant noodles, before I sort of moved here to live, I had a completely different view on what instant noodles were. My view of instant noodles when I lived in Australia was it's almost like a food that kids would eat, or poor university students, and that's about it. Like, as an adult, you don't really eat instant noodles much, unless you're real lazy and you just want a snack. But like, it's just not really common, because we know that it's not very nutritious, and it's like full of salt, and that tastes good. But here in Indonesia, it's different. Their relationship with that is completely different here. And oh, what's going on over here? This guy's digging. What's he digging for? I think he's actually going to bury a bit of the rubbish that's washed up on the beach. The beach doesn't look too bad at the moment. There's a bit of rubbish, but it's not too bad. It could be a lot worse because of the storm that we've just had last night, the big rain. The colour of the ocean's a little bit brown from all the storm water runoff that would have just come down the river and gone out there. So there's a bit of brown there. I don't think it's sewage, and the reason I don't think it's sewage is because most places just pump their sewage underground. So I can see a lot of leaf litter and sticks and rubbish in there as well. Not when I say rubbish, I don't mean like plastic. But yeah, so the noodle story is, when I first started going to language school, one of the teachers said he's just going to go off and get some lunch. I was like, oh yeah, well that's pretty normal. Came back with a packet of instant noodles. And I thought, oh, that's really weird. And he boiled some water and had his instant noodles. And that was it for lunch. I thought, hang on, as an adult, you can't have instant noodles for lunch. That's not what we do, because it's just so not nutritious. But it's very common in Indonesia just to isi perut, to have noodles. And you know what? Indonesians are in love with Indomie, and a few other brands as well, but Indomie is the #1 brand of instant noodles. I love them as well. There's a bit of a flavour to them, and they might, if they're feeling a little bit sort of glamorous, put a fried egg on top, and that's it. Instant noodles. So I'm a bit of a convert, really. I mean, it's just not good for you to be eating instant noodles very often, and I don't eat them often. But if I've sort of gotten to the end of the day and I haven't had dinner, but I'm not really that hungry, but I sort of need just something, I might fire up some instant noodles. Indomie or Miset Up is another brand. They're pretty good too. The interesting thing about the noodle situation in Indonesia is that we don't really think about noodles being a big food here in Indonesia. You might think of noodles like in China and things, but it's so big here that the #1 export country for Australian wheat is Indonesia. They import many tens of thousands of tons, hundreds of thousands of tons of wheat every year, and they mill it locally. So it gets exported as just the grain in large ships, and it gets sent to Indonesia, where they have their own mills and storage and all of that sort of stuff, and handling, and yeah, and they make their own products from it just like that. It's really massive. It's actually a really, really big business. I know Australians know that there's a lot of wheat in Australia, but until you go out to the bush areas and you see the scale of that wheat during harvest, it's hard to get a handle on how big it is. And it's massive. I've worked at a grain site, a grain handling site before, and in one season, some of the big sites in New South Wales, for example, can handle 400,000 tonnes of wheat or grain in one season. Some of the smaller sites, they can still do 50,000 tonnes quite easily, and that gets loaded onto trains or trucks down to the port and then onto ships and straight to export markets, Indonesia being the big one. It's quite interesting, that whole thing. So Indonesia is highly reliant on Australia for that wheat to make those noodles. When the war in Ukraine kicked off, and a lot of the wheat exports from the Ukraine were hindered and hampered, and there was a bit of news around Indonesia where there was a fear that the price of noodles was going to have to go up because the price of wheat was a little bit high, and therefore that sort of price hike would need to be passed on to consumers. I don't know if that ever happened, but they're sort of the news stories that are really important in Indonesia. If the price of noodles are going up, people don't like it. I would just like to say how beautiful this part of the world is. It's raw, it's a bit rough, but gee, it's beautiful walking along this path. It is really quite rough. I mean, it's not a beautiful beach. It's a black sand beach with a bit of rubbish on it, and this path is a bit busted up, and like, I'm not really doing a good job of selling it, but it feels good to be here. And the further you walk up here, the more remote it feels. So you can be in the center of Sanur 1 second and then be quite remote in another second. It's quite beautiful, quite beautiful. I'm actually surprised that it hasn't been developed a little bit more. There are these foreigner houses all the way along here that have been there for quite a long time. And further up there are some, and if you go further up the beach, there's even more of them. But there's still a lot of vacant land along this section. But one of the things for me about sort of living north of the harbour here in Sanur would be that you quite often get heavy traffic heading south towards the harbour. It's a bit of a choke point at certain times of day, and it could be a real problem if you're sort of place to go and hang out is Sanur and you're living north of the harbour. That can be a problem sometimes. Like if you're totally focused on avoiding traffic like I am, you couldn't really live here. But it's probably not that big a deal. It's just that I'm totally 100% against all traffic. So that's the story. A few more warongs along there doing really basic stuff. But again, I mean, if you're looking for a basic thing, they'll be fine. Oh, by the way, Ibu Ketut can do you a barley coffee with milk and no sugar. So if you don't want to have a big sugary drink like I just did, she can do you one of those in a bigger glass for 7,000, which is so cheap. And I reckon if you like your coffee, anyone's going to enjoy that. That looks like a cool little warong called Coffee and Beer Exotic Surf Skate Coffee. Coffee, food, toilet, ice cream, nasi goreng. Open cold beer now. Like, whatever you want, just come here, I'll give it to you. Got Wi-Fi too, like a real old warong, but someone in there's really trying hard to get people to come in, and I like that. So that's probably another one that you should come and have a look at down this area. I'm actually coming up to the main car park of Padang Galak beach. There's a big car park here that gets used occasionally. Sometimes they have kite festivals down here. They sometimes have that custom motorcycle event happening down here. And then just over there is where the old theme park was. And the big building that used to be the highlight is gone, which is a little bit sad in some ways. It was a bit of an icon. Obviously not making anyone any money, except a few locals who were taking, clipping tickets as people went through. But as far as like a big business goes, that was a really expensive piece of land, and it wasn't really used. So I'll see if I can get in and see what's going on. The water here looks extremely brown through my sunglasses. When I take them off, it looks quite washed out, but with my sunglasses on, it just looks extremely brown. It's almost like a tannin brown that you get in like a creek. But it's obviously due to the stormwater, because normally this beach doesn't really have that colour to it. And as I said, last night we had that big storm and we haven't had a heap of rain, so maybe it's just washed all the rubbish into the, when I say rubbish, like all the silt and sticks and stuff like that. Oh, a bit of proper rubbish too. I might just go along the beachfront a little bit before I go in, or try and go in, because I know up further there's that little air crash monument over there. Okay, there I can see some rubble over here where that big building used to be. Here it's just been destroyed. I don't know about the other buildings. I can see something still standing in there, so that's going to be interesting to see exactly what's happening in there. And this whole fencing thing, I don't know, it looks like it's been up for a long time, so I don't think that's a new thing. Yeah, I can see all their old steel beams and everything have been sort of collapsed into there. Oh yeah, there's another building which has sort of been destroyed and looks pretty dangerous in there now actually. Oh yeah, and there's a big hill over there, big mountain, that had a building or like a fortress on top. They are now getting vehicles up to that to bring it down as well. So it looks like it's well and truly under development. I wonder what they're going to build. I'll try and find out. So you get to the end of the path and you come to Pura Campuhan Windhu Segara, which is this place here. And it's the end of the path because you get to the river, which is over here. And there is no bridge across the river in this part. So I'll show you what it looks like. There you go. That's probably where all the brown's coming from too. If I look at that river, it's got a real brownness to it. Yeah, like a flooded river gets that brownness to it. That's what that is. And that's why the ocean's got that color, I'd say. It's all flowing out there. But I'm not here for the temple or the river. I'm here for the monument to the Garuda Indonesia flight in 1974 that crashed in, I think it was in Tabanan, and killed about 100 people. And there is a monument to that crash here. This is where the memorial is for that particular incident. And something we don't really hear a lot about, really. When the aeroplane crashed, it crashed into a mountain and completely disintegrated. Like they call it a controlled flight into terrain. In other words, they just went full speed into the hill. And here it is here. It's quite beautiful actually. And you can see that people still do come here to pay their respects to those people who died in that aeroplane crash. There it is. In there. Quite beautiful, isn't it? There is sometimes a guy that asks for a donation because he keeps it clean. Up to you whether you want to give him any money or not. If he comes around, I'll give him a bit of money. But if not, that's all right as well. Nice. It didn't happen here. The crash didn't happen here. It happened up in the mountains. There's some sort of navigation error. There we go. Beautiful. All the people who were killed, so many people from all of those different countries. It looks like the majority were from Japan, and there were heaps from France as well, a lot from Australia. In memory of 107 passengers and crew who perished near Mount Patas on April 22, 1974. If you want any more information about it, I reckon there's probably a video on YouTube about it. I don't know. There's like a video on every air crash on YouTube, it seems. And I reckon there might be for this. If not, you'll definitely be able to find some articles about it because it's a significant event here in Indonesia. Tragedy, really. Absolute tragedy. So over there, through those bushes there, that's part of the old theme park. I can still see buildings standing there, but I've got a funny feeling I'm not going to be able to get back in. I will try and ask a few people around here what the story is and what development's going in, or whether they're just clearing the land to sell or whatever. I'll find out what the story behind this temple is. But any significant karena apa?
Orang mandi, orang melukat.
Oh, jadi kalau mau melukat bisa ke sini?
Ya, pakai sarung.
Ya, aku nggak mau, tapi ya untuk orang lokal ya ngerti ya. Oke, makasih Pak.
Ya bebas, tidak mandang orang lokal, tidak mandang orang siapa.
Makasih ya. Okay, it's a place to do melukat, where you go and cleanse the soul. Another one of those places around here. I don't know how to do those ceremonies, so like for me to wander in there with a sarong and start splashing water all over myself and praying and stuff, be a bit silly. So best to do that if you know how to do melukat on your own, or if you've got a local showing you what the story is. That's the story. He said you can just go in there and anyone can go in there. But I don't know, I feel really uncomfortable going into these spiritual places when I'm completely clueless as to what the story is about them. Like I feel very uncomfortable about that, but I'm not everyone. So if you want to go in there and you've got the right gear on, feel free. A few videos ago, I talked about being pusing and how pusing can mean so many different things. It can mean dizzy, it can mean confused, it can mean stressed. It's got lots of different meanings to it. But if you are pushing, a lot of people will say, I'm so pushing, and they might mean stressed. I need to go and do melukat just to clear all the bad energy from my body. And that's sort of almost a joke here in Bali. with the Indonesian crowd. Like sometimes you might hear someone joke, I'm so stressed and I need to go and do a melukat. Like they might say it like that. It's not always a joke, but I mean, just you can hear that sometimes, you know. Maybe they're being serious as well at the same time, you know. Deep down inside, they need that spiritual cleansing. In the distance over there, I can see an alat berat. That's a really good term to know as well. Alat berat is just basically, I mean, if you literally translate it, it means heavy tool. And alat is like, well, alat's not just tool, but it's, yeah, heavy tool. But it's what we would say in English is like earth moving equipment or heavy machinery. They just call it alat berat here. I just spoke to a guy, local guy, said, what are they doing in there? He goes, oh, they're doing a renovation. I said, all right, what? Like they just look like they've knocked it down. He said, oh, I don't really know what they're doing. So he doesn't really know, he just called it a renovation. So he said, oh, you can go in. I said, okay, I'll go around and have a look, but I don't even know if I can go in there now. Like, why would you? If there's all these heavy machinery and they're knocking buildings down, it's probably not a pleasant place to go, is it? But I'm gonna try. Yeah, all right, here we go. He's got his, oh, there we go. His feet. Hang on, he's got geese and pigeons. I really don't like geese. Okay, let's see what's changed. The guy actually told me that he has to give me a ticket. He's not allowed to not give you a ticket. And he said that most of the buildings here are now destroyed, but you can still have a wander around. So let's have a bit of a look. It's a bit weird. Like that's where that big, the big building was. That was like a theatre, that was cool. He reckons what they're building is a new theme park down here. So they are, in fact, renovating it to be a new theme park. Down here, there used to be a lake, and the lake is being filled in. Well, I think I'm a bit sort of being too polite by calling it a lake. It was a swamp. Oh, that's all undercut there, so you've got to be careful around there. In fact, I might walk a bit wide of that, otherwise you might collapse it. And the good thing about this place was, and I don't know if it's still the case, was that you could come in here and look around all the old buildings and see what was, they see all the artwork and that sort of stuff, and it was a bit creepy. But I think that aspect of it is sort of falling by the wayside a bit because most of the buildings are gone now, which is sad. But I mean, some of the buildings are still here. This feels really unfamiliar to me, this area. Is it worth coming down here? I don't know. Used to be, I don't know if it still is. There's just not much here anymore. Most of it's destroyed. I mean, it cost you 20,000 to enter, so it's not like it's a big deal or anything like that. Oh, beautiful. I think it still looks pretty cool. I reckon it's still pretty cool, even though it's a construction site. I've got a soft spot for this place, even though, oh, maybe what they could do here is build a new rubbish dump. That'd be good, wouldn't it? They need a new rubbish dump. That'd be a good place to put it. Yeah. It's interesting just to see what's going on over here. Like they've been digging and finding old buildings under the ground and stuff, it looks like as well. Jesus changed a lot though. That has changed a lot since I was last here. This used to be filled with old buildings that were really cool to explore, and now that's sort of gone. Ah well, the last sort of death throes of the Padang Galak theme park. We're in it right now. I mean, you have to be a little bit careful, look at that. Dodgy as. Like it's a construction site. What I might do now, I might actually go back out, head up the road to Zavi, and get a coffee and maybe a, I don't know, bite to eat, a little cake or a pastry or something like that. I love that place. And I know that it's not that popular with foreigners. I mean, foreigners do go there, but they're not the people who are coming to Sanur, for example. A lot of them are local foreigners, the ones that live around the area. They're obviously going to go there, but not from like strays from Sanur wandering along the beach and going, oh, here's a cafe, because it's not really that sort of place where you sort of accidentally bump into it. You've got to go there on purpose because it's not near the beachfront path, but it's not far from here up this road, so I'll show you it. All right, let's get out of here. This is actually the location where Custom War was last time.